The Septuagint, with Apocrypha, is a collection of the best and most reliable Greek manuscripts reconstructed to approximate the original translation of the Old Testament from Hebrew to Greek. Book of Judges, read by Alexander Scourby. Chapter 1. And it came to pass after the death of Joshua that the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, saying, Who shall go up for us first against the Canaanites to fight against them? And the Lord said, Judas shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Judas said to his brother Simeon, Come up with me into my lot, and let us array ourselves against the Canaanites, and I also will go with you into your lot. And Simeon went with him, and Judas went up. And the Lord delivered the Canaanite and the Perizzite into their hands, and they struck them in Bezek to the number of 10,000 men. And they overtook Adonibezek in Bezek, and fought against him, and they struck the Canaanite and the Perizzite. And Adonibezek fled, and they pursued after him, and took him, and cut off his thumbs and his great toes. And Adonibezek said, 70 kings, having their thumbs and their great toes cut off, gathered their food under my table. As I therefore have done, so God has recompensed me. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died there. And the children of Judas fought against Jerusalem, and took it, and struck with the edge of the sword, and they burnt the city with fire. And afterwards the children of Judas went down to fight with the Canaanite dwelling in the hill country, and the south, and the plain country. And Judas went to the Canaanite who lived in Chebron, and Chebron came out against him, and the name of Chebron before was Kiriath-Arbaxepher. And they struck Sesi and Achiman and Tholmai, children of Enak. And they went up thence to the inhabitants of Dabir, but the name of Dabir was before Kiriath-Sepher, the city of letters. And Caleb said, Whosoever shall strike the city of letters, and shall first take it, I will give to him Eshcah my daughter to wife. And Gothaniel, the younger son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, took it. And Caleb gave him his daughter Askah to wife. And it came to pass, as she went in, that Gothaniel urged her to ask a field of her father. And she murmured and cried from off her ass, You have sent me forth into a south land. And Caleb said to her, What is your request? And Askah said to him, Give me, I pray you, a blessing, for you have sent me forth into a south land, and you shall give me the ransom of water. And Caleb gave her according to her heart the ransom of the upper springs and the ransom of the low springs. And the children of Jothor the Kenite, the father-in-law of Moses, went up from the city of palm trees with the children of Judas to the wilderness that is in the south of Judah, which is at the descent of Arad, and they lived with the people. And Judas went with Simeon his brother, and struck the Canaanite that inhabited Sepheth, and they utterly destroyed them, and they called the name of the city Anathema. But Judas did not inherit Gaza, nor her coasts, nor Askelon, nor her coasts, nor Acharon, nor her coasts, nor Azotus, nor the lands around it. And the Lord was with Judas, and he inherited the mountain, for they were not able to destroy the inhabitants of the valley, for Rechab prevented them. And they gave Chebron to Caleb, as Moses said, and thence he inherited the 3 cities of the children of Enak. But the children of Benjamin did not take the inheritance of the Jebusite who lived in Jerusalem, and the Jebusite lived with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem until this day. And the sons of Joseph, they also went up to Bethel, and the Lord was with them. And they encamped and surveyed Bethel, and the name of the city before was Luzah. And the spies looked, and behold, a man went out of the city, and they took him. And they said to him, Show us the way into the city, and we will deal mercifully with you. And he showed them the way into the city. And they struck the city with the edge of the sword, but they let go the man and his family. And the man went into the land of Chetin, and built there a city, and called the name of it Luzah. This is its name until this day. And Manasseh did not drive out the inhabitants of Baathsan, which is a city of Scythians, nor her towns, nor her suburbs, nor Thanak, nor her towns, nor the inhabitants of Dor, nor her suburbs, nor her towns, nor the inhabitant of Balak, nor her suburbs, nor her towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo, nor her suburbs, nor her towns, nor the inhabitants of Jeblam, nor her suburbs, nor her towns. And the Canaanite began to dwell in this land. And it came to pass, when Israel was strong, that he made the Canaanite tributary, but did not utterly drive them out. And Ephraim did not drive out the Canaanite that lived in Gazer, and the Canaanite lived in the midst of him in Gazer, and became tributary. And Zebulun did not drive out the inhabitants of Kedron, nor the inhabitants of Domana, and the Canaanite lived in the midst of them, and became tributary to them. And Asa did not drive out the inhabitants of Accho, and that people became tributary to him, nor the inhabitants of Dor, nor the inhabitants of Sidon, nor the inhabitants of Dalaph, nor Ascasi, nor Chebda, nor Nai, nor Erio. And Asa lived in the midst of the Canaanite who inhabited the land, for he could not drive him out. And Naphtali did not drive out the inhabitants of Beth-Samis, nor the inhabitants of Beethanach. And Naphtali lived in the midst of the Canaanite who inhabited the land, but the inhabitants of Beth-Samis and of Beethaneth became tributary to them. And the Amorite drove out the children of Dan into the mountains, for they did not suffer them to come down into the valley. And the Amorite began to dwell in the mountain of Shells, in which are bears and foxes, in Mirsinon and in Thalabin. And the hand of the house of Joseph was heavy upon the Amorite, and he became tributary to them. And the border of the Amorite was from the going up of Akrabin, from the rock and upwards. Chapter 2. And an angel of the Lord went up from Galgal to the place of weeping, and to Bethel, and to the house of Israel, and said to them, Thus says the Lord, I brought you up out of Egypt, and I brought you into the land, which I swore to your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant that I have made with you. And you shall make no covenant with them that dwell in this land, neither shall you worship their gods. But you shall destroy their graven images, you shall pull down their altars. But you listened not to my voice, for you did these things. And I said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be for a distress to you, and their gods shall be to you for an offense. And it came to pass, when the angel of the Lord spoke these words to all the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. And they named the name of that place Weepings, and they sacrificed there to the Lord. And Joshua dismissed the people, and they went every man to his inheritance, to inherit the land. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua, and all the days of the elders that lived many days with Joshua, as many as knew all the great work of the Lord, what things he had wrought in Israel. And Joshua the son of Nawe, the servant of the Lord, died 110 years old. And they buried him in the border of his inheritance, in Timnathares, in Mount Ephraim, on the north of the mountain of Gaas. And all that generation were laid to their fathers. And another generation rose up after them, who knew not the Lord, nor yet the work which he wrought in Israel. And the children of Israel wrought evil before the Lord, and served Baalim. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, and walked after other gods, of the gods of the nations round about them, and they worshipped them. And they provoked the Lord, and forsook him, and served Baal and the Astartes. And the Lord was very angry with Israel, and he gave them into the hands of the spoilers, and they spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, and they could not any longer resist their enemies among whoever they went. And the hand of the Lord was against them for evil, as the Lord spoke, and as the Lord swore to them, and he greatly afflicted them. And the Lord raised up judges, and the Lord saved them out of the hands of them that spoiled them. And yet they listened not to the judges, for they went a-whoring after other gods, and worshipped them. And they turned quickly out of the way in which their fathers walked to listen to the words of the Lord. They did not so. And because the Lord raised them up judges, so the Lord was with the judge, and saved them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For the Lord was moved at their groaning by reason of them that besieged them and afflicted them. And it came to pass, when the judge died, that they went back, and again corrupted themselves worse than their fathers, to go after other gods, to serve them and to worship them. They abandoned not their devices, nor their stubborn ways. And the Lord was very angry with Israel, and said, Forasmuch as this nation has forsaken my covenant which I commanded their fathers, and has not listened to my voice, therefore I will not any more cast out a man of the nations before their face, which Joshua the son of Nawe left in the land. And the Lord left them to prove Israel with them, whether they would keep the way of the Lord, to walk in it, as their fathers kept it, or no. So the Lord will leave these nations, so as not to cast them out suddenly. And he delivered them not into the hand of Joshua. Chapter 3. And these are the nations which the Lord left to prove Israel with them, all that had not known the wars of Chanaan. Only for the sake of the generations of Israel, to teach them war, only the men before them knew them not. The 5 lordships of the Philistines, and every Canaanite, and the Sidonian, and the Evite, who lived in Libanus from the mount of Hermon to Leboamath. And this was done in order to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would obey the commands of the Lord, which he charged their fathers by the hand of Moses. And the children of Israel lived in the midst of the Canaanite, and the Chetite, and the Amorite, and the Perizzite, and the Evite, and the Jebusite. And they took their daughters for wives to themselves, and they gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot the Lord their God, and served Baalim and the groves. And the Lord was very angry with Israel, and sold them into the hand of Chusar-Sataim, king of Syria of the rivers. And the children of Israel served Chusar-Sataim 8 years. And the children of Israel cried to the Lord, and the Lord raised up a Savior to Israel, and he saved them, Gothoniel the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, younger than himself. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel, and he went out to war against Chusar-Sataim. And the Lord delivered into his hand Chusar-Sataim, king of Syria of the rivers, and his hand prevailed against Chusar-Sataim. And the land was quiet 40 years, and Gothoniel the son of Kenaz died. And the children of Israel continued to do evil before the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Eglon king of Moab against Israel, because they had done evil before the Lord. And he gathered to himself all the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and struck Israel, and took possession of the city of palm trees. And the children of Israel served Eglon the king of Moab 18 years. And the children of Israel cried to the Lord. And he raised up to them a Savior, Ahod the son of Gera, a son of Gemini, a man who used both hands alike. And the children of Israel sent gifts by his hand to Eglon king of Moab. And Ahod made himself a dagger of 2 edges, of a span long, and he girded it under his cloak upon his right thigh. And he went and brought the presents to Eglon king of Moab. And Eglon was a very handsome man. And it came to pass, when Ahod had made an end of offering his gifts, that he dismissed those that brought the gifts, and he himself returned from the quarries that are by Galgal. And Ahod said, I have a secret errand to you, O king. And Eglon said to him, Be silent. And he sent away from his presence all who waited upon him. And Ahod went in to him, and he sat in his own upper summer chamber quite alone. And Ahod said, I have a message from God to you, O king. And Eglon rose up from his throne near him. And it came to pass, as he arose, that Ahod stretched forth his left hand, and took the dagger off his right thigh, and plunged it into his belly, and drove in also the haft after the blade, and the fat closed in upon the blade, for he drew not out the dagger from his belly. And Ahod went out to the porch, and passed out by the appointed guards, and shut the doors of the chamber upon him, and locked them. And he went out, and Eglon's servants came, and saw, and behold, the doors of the upper chamber were locked. And they said, Does he not uncover his feet in the summer chamber? And they waited till they were ashamed, and, behold, there was no one that opened the doors of the upper chamber. And they took the key, and opened them. And, behold, their lord was fallen down dead upon the earth. And Ahod escaped while they were in a tumult, and no one paid attention to him. And he passed the quarries, and escaped to Setirotha. And it came to pass, when Ahod came into the land of Israel, that he blew the horn in Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel came down with him from the mountain, and he was before them. And he said to them, Come down after me, for the Lord God has delivered our enemies, even Moab, into our hand. And they went down after him, and seized on the fords of Jordan before Moab, and he did not suffer a man to pass over. And they struck Moab on that day about 10,000 men, every lusty person and every mighty man, and not a man escaped. So Moab was humbled in that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. And Ahod judged them till he died. And after him rose up Samegar the son of Dinach, and struck the Philistines to the number of 600 men, with a plowshare such as is drawn by oxen, and he too delivered Israel. Chapter 4. And the children of Israel continued to do evil against the Lord, and Ahod was dead. And the Lord sold the children of Israel into the hand of Jabin king of Chanaan, who ruled in Assur. And the chief of his host was Sisera, and he lived in Arisoth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried to the Lord, because he had 900 chariots of iron. And he mightily oppressed Israel 20 years. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time. And she sat under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel went up to her for judgment. And Deborah sent and called Barak the son of Abinoam out of Kadesh Naphtali. And she said to him, Has not the Lord God of Israel commanded you? And you shall depart to Mount Tabor, and shall take with yourself 10,000 men of the sons of Naphtali, and of the sons of Zabulon. And I will bring to you to the torrent of Kison Sisera, the captain of the host of Jabin, and his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver them into your hands. And Barak said to her, If you will go with me, I will go, and if you will not go, I will not go. For I know not the day on which the Lord prospers his messenger with me. And she said, I will surely go with you, but know that your honor shall not attend on the expedition on which you go, for the Lord shall sell Sisera into the hands of a woman. And Deborah arose, and went with Barak out of Cades. And Barak called Zabulon, and Naphtali out of Cades. And there went up at his feet 10,000 men, and Deborah went up with him. And Cheber the Kenite had removed from Kinah, from the sons of Jobab the father-in-law of Moses, and pitched his tent by the oak of the covetous ones, which is near Kedes. And it was told Sisera that Barak the son of Abinoam was gone up to Mount Tabor. And Sisera summoned all his chariots, 900 chariots of iron, and all the people with him, from Arisoth of the Gentiles to the brook of Kison. And Deborah said to Barak, Rise up, for this is the day on which the Lord has delivered Sisera into your hand, for the Lord shall go forth before you. And Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him. And the Lord discomfited Sisera, and all his chariots, and all his army, with the edge of the sword before Barak. And Sisera descended from off his chariot, and fled on his feet. And Barak pursued after the chariots, and after the army, into Arisoth of the Gentiles. And the whole army of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword, there was not one left. And Sisera fled on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Cheber the Kenite, his friend. For there was peace between Jabin king of Assur and the house of Cheber the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera, and said to him, Turn aside, my lord, turn aside to me, fear not. And he turned aside to her into the tent, and she covered him with a mantle. And Sisera said to her, Give me, I pray you, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk, and gave him to drink, and covered him. And Sisera said to her, Stand now by the door of the tent. And it shall come to pass, if any man come to you, and ask of you, and say, Is there any man here? Then you shall say, There is not. And Jael, the wife of Cheber, took a pin of the tent, and took a hammer in her hand, and went secretly to him, and fastened the pin in his temple, and it went through to the earth, and he fainted away, and darkness fell upon him, and he died. And behold, Barak was pursuing Sisera, and Jael went out to meet him, and she said to him, Come, and I will show you the man whom you seek. And he went in to her, and behold, Sisera was fallen dead, and the pin was in his temple. So God routed Jabin king of Chanaan in that day before the children of Israel. And the hand of the children of Israel prevailed more and more against Jabin king of Chanaan, until they utterly destroyed Jabin king of Chanaan. Chapter 5. And Deborah and Barak son of Abinoam sang in that day, saying, A revelation was made in Israel when the people were made willing. Praise you the Lord. Hear, you kings, and listen, rulers. I will sing. It is I who will sing to the Lord. It is I. I will sing a psalm to the Lord, the God of Israel. O Lord, in your going forth on Seir, when you went forth out of the land of Edom, the earth quaked, and the heaven dropped dews, and the clouds dropped water. The mountains were shaken before the face of the Lord Eloi, this Sinah before the face of the Lord God of Israel. In the days of Samagar son of Anath, in the days of Jael, they deserted the ways, and went in byways. They went in crooked paths. The mighty men in Israel failed. They failed until Deborah arose, until she arose, a mother in Israel. They chose new gods. Then the cities of rulers fought. There was not a shield or spear seen among 40,000 in Israel. My heart inclines to the orders given in Israel. You that are willing among the people, bless the Lord. You that mount a she-ass at noonday, you that sit on the judgment seat, and walk by the roads of them that sit in judgment by the way, declare you that are delivered from the noise of disturbers among the drawers of water. There shall they relate righteous acts. O Lord, increase righteous acts in Israel. Then the people of the Lord went down to the cities. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake, utter a song. Arise, Barak, and lead your captivity captive, son of Abinoam. Then went down the remnant to the strong, the people of the Lord went down for him among the mighty ones from me. Ephraim rooted them out in Amalek. Behind you was Benjamin among your people. The inhabitants of Mashir came down with me, searching out the enemy. And from Zabulon came they that draw with the scribe's pen of record. And princes in Issachar were with Deborah and Barak. Thus she sent Barak on his feet in the valleys into the portions of Reuben. Great pangs reached to the heart. Why did they sit between the sheepfolds to hear the bleating of flocks for the divisions of Reuben? There were great searchings of heart. Galaad is on the other side of Jordan, where he pitched his tents. And why does Dan remain in ships? Asa sat down on the sea-coasts, and he will tabernacle at his ports. The people Zabulon exposed their soul to death, and Naphtali came to the high places of their land. Kings set themselves in array. Then the kings of Chanaan fought in Thanach at the water of Megiddo. They took no gift of money. The stars from heaven set themselves in array. They set themselves to fight with Sisera out of their paths. The brook of Kison swept them away. The ancient brook, the brook Kison, my mighty soul will trample him down. When the hoofs of the horse were entangled, his mighty ones earnestly hasted to curse Meroz. Curse you it, said the angel of the Lord. Cursed is every one that dwells in it, because they came not to the help of the Lord, to his help among the mighty. Blessed among women be Jael, wife of Chaber the Kenite. Let her be blessed above women in tents. He asked for water. She gave him milk in a dish. She brought butter of princes. She stretched forth her left hand to the nail, and her right to the handworkman's hammer, and she struck Sisera with it. She nailed through his head and struck him. She nailed through his temples. He rolled down between her feet. He fell and lay between her feet. He bowed and fell. Where he bowed, there he fell dead. The mother of Sisera looked down through the window out of the loophole, saying, Why was his chariot ashamed? Why did the wheels of his chariots wait? Her wise ladies answered her, and she returned answers to herself, saying, Will they not find him dividing the spoil? He will surely be gracious to every man. There are spoils of dyed garments for Sisera, spoils of various dyed garments, dyed embroidered garments. They are the spoils for his neck. Thus let all your enemies perish, O Lord, and they that love him shall be as the going forth of the sun in his strength. And the land had rest 40 years. Chapter 6. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord gave them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel, and the children of Israel made for themselves because of Midian the caves in the mountains, and the dens, and the holes in the rocks. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel sowed, that Midian and Abimelech went up, and the children of the east went up together with them. And they encamped against them, and destroyed their fruits until they came to Gaza. And they left not the support of life in the land of Israel, not even ox or ass among the herds. For they and their stock came up, and their tents were with them, as the locust in multitude, and there was no number to them and their camels, and they came to the land of Israel, and laid it waste. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of Midian. And the children of Israel cried to the Lord because of Midian. And the Lord sent a prophet to the children of Israel, and he said to them, Thus says the Lord God of Israel, I am he that brought you up out of the land of Egypt, and I brought you up out of the house of your bondage. And I delivered you out of the hand of Egypt, and out of the hand of all that afflicted you, and I cast them out before you, and I gave you their land. And I said to you, I am the Lord your God. You shall not fear the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell, but you listened not to my voice. And an angel of the Lord came, and sat down under the fir tree, which was in Ephrathah in the land of Joas father of Esdrai. And Gideon his son was threshing wheat in a winepress in order to escape from the face of Midian. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, The Lord is with you, you mighty in strength. And Gideon said to him, Be gracious with me, my Lord. But if the Lord is with us, why have these evils found us? And where are all his miracles, which our fathers have related to us, saying, Did not the Lord bring us up out of Egypt? And now he has cast us out, and given us into the hand of Midian. And the angel of the Lord turned to him and said, Go in this your strength, and you shall save Israel out of the hand of Midian. Behold, I have sent you. And Gideon said to him, Be gracious with me, my Lord. Whereby shall I save Israel? Behold, my 1,000 is weakened in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. And the angel of the Lord said to him, The Lord shall be with you, and you shall strike Madian as one man. And Gideon said to him, If now I have found mercy in your eyes, and you will do this day for me all that you have spoken of with me, depart not hence until I come to you, and I will bring forth an offering, and offer it before you. And he said, I will remain until you return. And Gideon went in, and prepared a kid of the goats, and an ephah of fine flour unleavened. And he put the flesh in the basket, and poured the broth into the pot, and brought them forth to him under the turpentine tree, and drew near. And the angel of God said to him, Take the flesh and the unleavened cakes, and put them on that rock, and pour out the broth close by. And he did so. And the angel of the Lord stretched out the end of the rod that was in his hand, and touched the flesh and the unleavened bread. And fire came up out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened bread, and the angel of the Lord vanished from his sight. And Gideon saw that he was an angel of the Lord. And Gideon said, Lord my God, for I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. And the Lord said to him, Peace be to you. Fear not, you shall not die. And Gideon built there an altar to the Lord, and called it the Peace of the Lord, until this day, as it is still in Ephrathah of the father of Esdrai. And it came to pass in that night that the Lord said to him, Take the young bullock which your father has, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and you shall destroy the altar of Baal which your father has, and the grove which is by it you shall destroy. And you shall build an altar to the Lord your God on the top of this mousie in the ordering it, and you shall take the second bullock, and shall offer up whole burnt offerings with the wood of the grove, which you shall destroy. And Gideon took 10 men of his servants, and did as the Lord spoke to him. And it came to pass, as he feared the house of his father and the men of the city, if he should do it by day, that he did it by night. And the men of the city rose up early in the morning, and behold, the altar of Baal had been demolished, and the grove by it had been destroyed. And they saw the second bullock, which Gideon offered on the altar that had been built. And a man said to his neighbor, Who has done this thing? And they inquired and searched, and learned that Gideon the son of Joash had done this thing. And the men of the city said to Joash, Bring out your son, and let him die, because he has destroyed the altar of Baal, and because he has destroyed the grove that is by it. And Gideon the son of Joash said to all the men who rose up against him, Do you now plead for Baal, or will you save him? Whoever will plead for him, let him be slain this morning. If he be a god, let him plead for himself, because one has thrown down his altar. And he called it in that day Jerubbaal, saying, Let Baal plead thereby, because his altar has been thrown down. And all Madian and Abimelech and the sons of the east gathered themselves together, and encamped in the valley of Jezreel. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and he blew with the horn, and Abiezer came to help after him. And Gideon sent messengers into all Manasseh, and into Aser, and into Zebulun, and into Naphtali, and he went up to meet them. And Gideon said to God, If you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said, behold, I put the fleece of wool in the threshing floor. If there be dew on the fleece only, and drought on all the ground, I shall know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said. And it was so, and he rose up early in the morning, and wrung the fleece, and dew dropped from the fleece, a bowl full of water. And Gideon said to God, Let not, I pray you, your anger be kindled with me, and I will speak yet once. I will even yet make one trial more with the fleece. Let now the drought be upon the fleece only, and let there be dew on all the ground. And God did so in that night, and there was drought on the fleece only, and on all the ground there was dew. Chapter 7. And Jerubbaal rose early, the same as Gideon and all the people with him, and encamped at the fountain of Arad, and the camp of Madian was to the north of him, reaching from Gibeath-Amorai in the valley. And the Lord said to Gideon, The people with you are many, so that I may not deliver Madian into their hand, lest at any time Israel boast against me, saying, My hand has saved me. And now speak in the ears of the people, saying, Who is afraid and fearful? Let him turn and depart from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and 10,000 were left. And the Lord said to Gideon, The people is yet numerous. Bring them down to the water, and I will purge them there for you. And it shall come to pass that of whoever I shall say to you, this one shall go with you, even he shall go with you. And of whoever I shall say to you, this one shall not go with you, even he shall not go with you. And he brought the people down to the water. And the Lord said to Gideon, Whosoever shall lap of the water with his tongue as if a dog should lap, you shall set him apart. And also whoever shall bow down upon his knees to drink. And the number of those that lapped with their hand to their mouth was 300 men, and all the rest of the people bowed upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said to Gideon, I will save you by the 300 men that lapped, and I will give Madian into your hand. And all the rest of the people shall go every one to his place. And they took the provision of the people in their hand and their horns. And he sent away every man of Israel each to his tent, and he strengthened the 300. And the army of Madian were beneath him in the valley. And it came to pass in that night that the Lord said to him, Arise, go down into the camp, for I have delivered it into your hand. And if you are afraid to go down you and your servant Pharaoh into the camp. And you shall hear what they shall say, and afterwards your hands shall be strong, and you shall go down into the camp. And he went down, and Pharaoh his servant, to the extremity of the companies of 50 which were in the camp. And Madian and Abimelech, and all the children of the east, were scattered in the valley as the locust for multitude, and there was no number to their camels, but they were as the sand on the seashore for multitude. And Gideon came, and behold, a man was relating to his neighbor a dream. And he said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream, and behold, a cake of barley bread rolling into the camp of Madian. And it came as far as a tent, and struck it, and it fell, and it turned it up, and the tent fell. And his neighbor answered and said, This is none other than the sword of Gideon, son of Joash, a man of Israel. God has delivered Madian and all the host into his hand. And it came to pass, when Gideon heard the account of the dream and the interpretation of it, that he worshipped the Lord, and returned to the camp of Israel, and said, Rise, for the Lord has delivered the camp of Madian into our hand. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and put horns in the hands of all, and empty pitchers and torches in the pitchers. And he said to them, You shall look at me, and so shall you do. And behold, I will go into the section beginning of the host, and it shall come to pass that as I do, so shall you do. And I will sound with the horn, and all you with me shall sound with the horn round about the whole camp, and you shall say, For the Lord and Gideon. And Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came to the extremity of the army in the beginning of the middle watch. And they completely roused the guards, and sounded with the horns, and they broke the pitchers that were in their hands. And the 3 companies sounded with the horns, and broke the pitchers, and held the torches in their left hands, and in their right hands their horns to sound with. And they cried out, A sword for the Lord and for Gideon. And every man stood in his place round about the host, and all the host ran, and sounded an alarm, and fled. And they sounded with the 300 horns. And the Lord set every man's sword in all the host against his neighbor. And the host fled as far as Bethseed, Tagaragatha, Abel-Meula, to Tabbath. And the men of Israel from Naphtali, and from Aser, and from all Manasseh came to help, and followed after Madian. And Gideon sent messengers into all Mount Ephraim, saying, Come down to meet Madian, and take to yourselves the water as far as Beethera and Jordan. And every man of Ephraim cried out, and they took the water beforehand to Beethera and Jordan. And they took the princes of Madian, even Oreb and Zeb, and they killed Oreb in Sur-Oreb, and they killed Zeb in Japhethseph. And they pursued Madian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon from beyond Jordan. Chapter 8. And the men of Ephraim said to Gideon, What is this that you have done to us, in that you did not call us when you went to fight with Madian? And they chode with him sharply. And he said to them, What have I now done in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? The Lord has delivered into your hand the princes of Madian, Oreb and Zeb. And what could I do in comparison of you? Then was their spirit calmed toward him when he spoke this word. And Gideon came to Jordan, and went over himself and the 300 with him, hungry yet pursuing. And he said to the men of Succoth, Give, I pray you, bread to feed this people that follow me, because they are faint. And behold, I am following after Zebi and Salmanah, kings of Madian. And the princes of Succoth said, Are the hands of Zebi and Salmanah now in your hand, that we should give bread to your host? And Gideon said, Therefore, when the Lord gives Zebah and Salmunna into my hand, then will I tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and the Barkanim. And he went up thence to Phanuel, and spoke to them likewise. And the men of Phanuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. And Gideon said to the men of Phanuel, When I return in peace, I will break down this tower. And Zebah and Salmunna were in Karkar, and their host was with them, about 15,000, all that were left of all the host of the aliens, and they that fell were 120,000 men that drew the sword. And Gideon went up by the way of them that lived in tents, eastward of Nabai and Hegibal, and he struck the host, and the host was secure. And Zebah and Salmunna fled, and he pursued after them, and took the 2 kings of Madiam, Zebah and Salmunna, and discomfited all the army. And Gideon the son of Joash returned from the battle, down from the battle of Ares. And he took prisoner a young lad of the men of Succoth, and questioned him. And he wrote to him the names of the princes of Succoth, and of their elders 77 men. And Gideon came to the princes of Succoth, and said, Behold Zebah and Salmunna, about whom you reproached me, saying, Are the hands of Zebah and Salmunna now in your hand, that we should give bread to your men that are faint? And he took the elders of the city with the thorns of the wilderness and the Barkanim, and with them he tore the men of the city. And he overthrew the tower of Phanuel, and killed the men of the city. And he said to Zebah and Salmunna, Where are the men whom you killed in Thabor? And they said, As you, so were they, according to the likeness of the son of a king. And Gideon said, They were my brethren, and the sons of my mother. As the Lord lives, if you had preserved them alive, I would not have slain you. And he said to Jephthah his firstborn, Rise and kill them. But the lad drew not his sword, for he was afraid, for he was yet very young. And Zebah and Salmunna said, Rise you and fall upon us, for your power is as that of a man. And Gideon arose, and killed Zebah and Salmunna. And he took the round ornaments that were on the necks of their camels. And the men of Israel said to Gideon, Rule, my lord, over us, both you and your son's son, for you have saved us out of the hand of Madiam. And Gideon said to them, I will not rule, and my son shall not rule among you. The Lord shall rule over you. And Gideon said to them, I will make a request of you, and do you give me every man an earring out of his spoils. For they had golden earrings, for they were Ishmaelites. And they said, We will certainly give them. And he opened his garment, and each man cast therein an earring of his spoils. And the weight of the golden earrings which he asked was 1,700 pieces of gold, besides the crescents, and the chains, and the garments, and the purple cloths that were on the kings of Madiam, and besides the chains that were on the necks of their camels. And Gideon made an ephod of it, and set it in his city in Ephrathah. And all Israel went there a-whoring after it, and it became a stumbling block to Gideon and his house. And Madiam was straitened before the children of Israel, and they did not lift up their head any more. And the land had rest 40 years in the days of Gideon. And Jerubbaal the son of Joash went and sat in his house. And Gideon had 70 sons begotten of his body, for he had many wives. And his concubine was in Sychem, and she also bore him a son, and gave him the name Abimelech. And Gideon son of Joash died in his city, and he was buried in the sepulchre of Joash his father, in Ephrathah of Abi-Esdrai. And it came to pass, when Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned, and went a-whoring after Baalim, and made for themselves a covenant with Baal, that he should be their God. And the children of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hand of all that afflicted them round about. And they did not deal mercifully with the house of Jerubbaal, the same as Gideon, according to all the good which he did to Israel. Chapter 9. And Abimelech son of Jerubbaal went to Sychem to his mother's brethren. And he spoke to them, and to all the kindred of the house of his mother's father, saying, Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Sychem, saying, Which is better for you, that 70 men, even all the sons of Jerubbaal, should reign over you, or that 1 man should reign over you? And remember that I am your bone and your flesh. And his mother's brethren spoke concerning him in the ears of all the men of Sychem all these words, and their heart turned after Abimelech, for they said, He is our brother. And they gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Baal-berith. And Abimelech hired for himself vain and cowardly men, and they went after him. And he went to the house of his father to Ephrathah, and killed his brethren the sons of Jerubbaal, 70 men upon 1 stone. But Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, for he hid himself. And all the men of Sycamore and all the house of Beth-maalo were gathered together, and they went and made Abimelech king by the oak of sedition, which was at Sycamore. And it was reported to Jotham, and he went and stood on the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice, and wept, and said to them, Hear me, you men of Sycamore, and God shall hear you. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them, and they said to the olive, Reign over us. But the olive said to them, Shall I leave my fatness, with which men shall glorify God, and go to be promoted over the trees? And the trees said to the fig tree, Come, reign over us. But the fig tree said to them, Shall I leave my sweetness and my good fruits, and go to be promoted over the trees? And the trees said to the vine, Come, reign over us. And the vine said to them, Shall I leave my wine that cheers God and men, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then all the trees said to the bramble, Come you and reign over us. And the bramble said to the trees, If you in truth anoint me to reign over you, come, stand under my shadow. And if not, let fire come out from me, and devour the cedars of Libanus. And now, if you have done it in truth and integrity, and have made Abimelech king, and if you have wrought well with Jerubbaal and with his house, and if you have done to him according to the reward of his hand, as my father fought for you, and put his life in jeopardy, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian, and you are risen up this day against the house of my father, and have slain his sons, being 70 men, upon one stone, and have made Abimelech the son of his bondwoman king over the men of Sycamore, because he is your brother. If then you have done truly and faithfully with Jerubbaal, and with his house this day, rejoice you in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice over you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech, and devour the men of Sycamore and the house of Beth-maalo. And let fire come out from the men of Sycamore and from the house of Beth-maalo, and devour Abimelech. And Jotham fled, and ran away, and went as far as Beer, and lived there out of the way of his brother Abimelech. And Abimelech reigned over Israel 3 years. And God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Sycamore. And the men of Sycamore section dealt treacherously with the house of Abimelech, to bring the injury done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal, and to lay their blood upon their brother Abimelech, who killed them, and upon the men of Sycamore, because they strengthened his hands to kill his brethren. And the men of Sycamore set liers in wait against him on the top of the mountains, and robbed every one who passed by them on the way. And it was reported to the king Abimelech. And Gaal, son of Jobal, came, and his brethren, and passed by Sycamore, and the men of Sycamore trusted in him. And they went out into the field, and gathered their grapes, and trod them, and made merry. And they brought the grapes into the house of their God, and ate and drank, and cursed Abimelech. And Gaal the son of Jobal said, Who is Abimelech, and who is the son of Sychem, that we should serve him? Is he not the son of Jerubbaal? And is not Zebul his steward, his servant, with the son of Emor, the father of Sychem? And why should we serve him? And would that this people were under my hand! Then would I remove Abimelech, and I would say to him, Multiply your host, and come out. And Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, the son of Jobal. And he was very angry. And he sent messengers to Abimelech secretly, saying, Behold, Gaal, the son of Jobal, and his brethren are come to Sychem, and behold, they have besieged the city against you. And now rise up by night, you and the people with you, and lay wait in the field. And it shall come to pass in the morning at sunrising, you shall rise up early and draw toward the city. And behold, he and the people with him will come forth against you, and you shall do to him according to your power. And Abimelech and all the people with him rose up by night and formed an ambuscade against Sychem in 4 companies. And Gaal, the son of Jobal, went forth and stood by the door of the gate of the city, and Abimelech and the people with him rose up from the ambuscade. And Gaal, the son of Jobal, saw the people, and said to Zebul, Behold, a people comes down from the top of the mountains. And Zebul said to him, You see the shadow of the mountains as men. And Gaal continued to speak, and said, Behold, a people comes down westward from the part bordering on the middle of the land, and another company comes by the way of Helon-Maunenim. And Zebul said to him, And where is your mouth as you spoke? Who is Abimelech, that we should serve him? Is not this the people whom you despised? Go forth now, and set the battle in array against him. And Gaal went forth before the men of Sychem, and set the battle in array against Abimelech. And Abimelech pursued him, and he fled from before him, and many fell down slain as far as the door of the gate. And Abimelech entered into Arima, and Zebul cast out Gaal and his brethren, so that they should not dwell in Sychem. And it came to pass on the second day that the people went out into the field, and one brought word to Abimelech. And he took the people, and divided them into 3 companies, and formed an ambush in the field. And he looked, and behold, the people went forth out of the city, and he rose up against them, and struck them. And Abimelech and the chiefs of companies that were with him rushed forward, and stood by the door of the gate of the city. And the 2 other companies rushed forward upon all that were in the field, and struck them. And Abimelech fought against the city all that day, and took the city, and killed the people that were in it, and destroyed the city, and sowed it with salt. And all the men of the tower of Sychem heard, and came to the gathering of Baal-berith. And it was reported to Abimelech that all the men of the tower of Sychem were gathered together. And Abimelech went up to the mount of Selman, and all the people that were with him. And Abimelech took an axe in his hand, and cut down a branch of a tree, and took it, and laid it on his shoulders, and said to the people that were with him, What you see me doing, do quickly as I. And they cut down likewise, even every man a branch, and went after Abimelech, and laid them against the place of gathering, and burnt the place of gathering over them with fire. And they died, even all the men of the tower of Sychem, about 1,000 men and women. And Abimelech went out of Baal-berith, and encamped against Thebes, and took it. And there was a strong tower in the midst of the city. And there all the men and the women of the city fled, and shut the door without them, and went up on the roof of the tower. And Abimelech drew near to the tower, and they besieged it. And Abimelech drew near to the door of the tower, to burn it with fire. And a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon the head of Abimelech, and broke his skull. And he cried out quickly to the young man his armor-bearer, and said to him, Draw your sword, and kill me, lest at any time they should say, A woman killed him. And his young man thrust him through, and he died. And the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, and they went each to his place. So God requited the wickedness of Abimelech, which he wrought against his father, in slaying his 70 brethren. And all the wickedness of the men of Sychem God requited upon their head, and the curse of Jotham the son of Jerubbaal came upon them. Chapter 10. And after Abimelech, Tola the son of Puah rose up to save Israel, being the son of his father's brother, a man of Issachar, and he lived in Samir in Mount Ephraim. And he judged Israel 23 years, and died, and was buried in Samir. And after him arose Jair of Galaad, and he judged Israel 22 years. And he had 32 sons riding on 32 colts, and they had 32 cities, and they called them Jair's towns until this day in the land of Galaad. And Jair died, and was buried in Ramnon. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Aram, and the gods of Sidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines. And they forsook the Lord, and did not serve him. And the Lord was very angry with Israel, and sold them into the hands of the Philistines, and into the hand of the children of Ammon. And they afflicted and bruised the children of Israel at that time 18 years, all the children of Israel beyond Jordan in the land of the Amorite in Galaad. And the children of Ammon went over Jordan to fight with Judah and Benjamin and with Ephraim, and the children of Israel were greatly afflicted. And the children of Israel cried to the Lord, saying, We have sinned against you, because we have forsaken God and served Baalim. And the Lord said to the children of Israel, Did I not save you from Egypt, and from the Amorite, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines, and from the Sidonians, and Amalek, and Madiam, who afflicted you? And you cried to me, and I saved you out of their hand? Yet you forsook me, and served other gods, therefore I will not save you any more. Go, and cry to the gods whom you have chosen to yourselves, and let them save you in the time of your affliction. And the children of Israel said to the Lord, We have sinned. Do you to us according to all that is good in your eyes. Only deliver us this day. And they put away the strange gods from the midst of them, and served the Lord only, and his soul was pained for the trouble of Israel. And the children of Ammon went up, and encamped in Galaad, and the children of Israel were gathered together, and encamped on the hill. And the people, the princes of Galaad, said every man to his neighbor, Who is he that shall begin to fight against the children of Ammon? He shall even be head over all that dwell in Galaad. Chapter 11. And Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man, and he was the son of a harlot who bore Jephthah to Gilead. And the wife of Gilead bore him sons, and the sons of his wife grew up. And they cast out Jephthah, and said to him, You shall not inherit in the house of our father, for you are the son of a concubine. And Jephthah fled from the face of his brethren, and lived in the land of Tob. And vain men gathered to Jephthah, and went out with him. And it came to pass, when the children of Ammon prepared to fight with Israel, that the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah from the land of Tob. And they said to Jephthah, Come and be our head, and we will fight with the sons of Ammon. And Jephthah said to the elders of Gilead, Did you not hate me, and cast me out of my father's house, and banish me from you? And therefore are you come to me now, when you lack me? And the elders of Gilead said to Jephthah, Therefore have we now turned to you, that you should go with us, and fight against the sons of Ammon, and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. And Jephthah said to the elders of Gilead, If you turn me back to fight with the children of Ammon, and the Lord should deliver them before me, then will I be your head. And the elders of Gilead said to Jephthah, The Lord be witness between us, if we shall not do according to your word. And Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and ruler over them. And Jephthah spoke all his words before the Lord in Massepha. And Jephthah sent messengers to the king of the children of Ammon, saying, What have I to do with you, that you have come against me to fight in my land? And the king of the children of Ammon said to the messengers of Jephthah, Because Israel took my land when he went up out of Egypt, from Arnon to Jabbok and to Jordan. Now then return them peaceably, and I will depart. And Jephthah again sent messengers to the king of the children of Ammon, and said to him, Thus says Jephthah, Israel took not the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. For in their going up out of Egypt, Israel went in the wilderness as far as the sea of Siph, and came to Cades. And Israel sent messengers to the king of Edom, saying, I will pass, if it please you, by your land. And the king of Edom complied not, and Israel also sent to the king of Moab, and he did not consent, and Israel sojourned in Cades. And they journeyed in the wilderness, and compassed the land of Edom, and the land of Moab. And they came by the east of the land of Moab, and encamped in the country beyond Arnon, and came not within the borders of Moab, for Arnon is the border of Moab. And Israel sent messengers to Sihon king of the Amorite, king of Esbon. And Israel said to him, Let us pass, we pray you, by your land to our place. And Sihon did not trust Israel to pass by his coast, and Sihon gathered all his people, and they encamped at Jassa. And he set the battle in array against Israel. And the Lord God of Israel delivered Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel, and they struck him. And Israel inherited all the land of the Amorite who lived in that land, from Arnon and to Jabbok, and from the wilderness to Jordan. And now the Lord God of Israel has removed the Amorite from before his people Israel, and shall you inherit his land? Will you not inherit those possessions which Chamos your God shall cause you to inherit? And shall not we inherit the land of all those whom the Lord our God has removed from before you? And now, are you any better than Balak son of Sephor, king of Moab? Did he indeed fight with Israel, or indeed make war with him, when Israel lived in Esebon and in its coasts, and in the land of Aroer and in its coasts, and in all the cities by Jordan 300 years? And therefore did you not recover them in that time? And now I have not sinned against you, but you wrong me in preparing war against me. May the Lord the judge judge this day between the children of Israel and the children of Ammon. But the king of the children of Ammon listened not to the words of Jephthah, which he sent to him. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed over Galaad and Manasseh, and passed by the watchtower of Galaad to the other side of the children of Ammon. And Jephthah vowed a vow to the Lord, and said, If you will indeed deliver the children of Ammon into my hand, then it shall come to pass that whoever shall first come out of the door of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, he shall be the Lord's. I will offer him up for a whole burnt offering. And Jephthah advanced to meet the sons of Ammon to fight against them, and the Lord delivered them into his hand. And he struck them from Aroer till one comes to Arnon, in number 20 cities, and as far as Ebel-Charmim, with a very great destruction. And the children of Ammon were straitened before the children of Israel. And Jephthah came to Massepha to his house. And behold, his daughter came forth to meet him with timbrels and dances, and she was his only child. He had not another son or daughter. And it came to pass, when he saw her, that he tore his garments, and said, Ah, my daughter, you have indeed troubled me, and you were the cause of my trouble. And I have opened my mouth against you to the Lord, and I shall not be able to return from it. And she said to him, Father, have you opened your mouth to the Lord? Do to me accordingly as the word went out of your mouth, in that the Lord has wrought vengeance for you on your enemies of the children of Ammon. And she said to her father, Let my father now do this thing. Let me alone for 2 months, and I will go up and down on the mountains, and I will bewail my virginity, I and my companions. And he said, Go. And he sent her away for 2 months, and she went, and her companions, and she bewailed her virginity on the mountains. And it came to pass at the end of the 2 months that she returned to her father. And he performed upon her his vow which he vowed. And she knew no man. And it was an ordinance in Israel, that the daughters of Israel went from year to year to bewail the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite for 4 days in a year. Chapter 12. And the men of Ephraim assembled themselves, and passed on to the north, and said to Jephthah, Therefore did you go over to fight with the children of Ammon, and did not call us to go with you. We will burn your house over you with fire. And Jephthah said to them, I and my people and the children of Ammon were very much engaged in war. And I called for you, and you did not save me out of their hand. And I saw that you were no helper, and I put my life in my hand, and passed on to the sons of Ammon. And the Lord delivered them into my hand, and therefore are you come up against me this day to fight with me. And Jephthah gathered all the men of Galaad, and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Galaad struck Ephraim, because they that were escaped of Ephraim said, You are of Galaad in the midst of Ephraim, and in the midst of Manasseh. And Galaad took the fords of Jordan before Ephraim. And they that escaped of Ephraim said to them, Let us go over. And the men of Galaad said, Are you an Ephrathite? And he said, No. Then they said to him, Say now Stachys. And he did not rightly pronounce it so, and they took him, and killed him at the fords of Jordan, and there fell at that time of Ephraim 42,000. And Jephthah judged Israel 6 years. And Jephthah the Gileadite died, and was buried in his city Galaad. And after him Abisan of Bethlehem judged Israel. And he had 30 sons and 30 daughters whom he sent forth. And he brought in 30 daughters for his sons from without. And he judged Israel 7 years. And Abisan died, and was buried in Bethlehem. And after him Elam of Zebulun judged Israel 10 years. And Elam of Zebulun died, and was buried in Elam in the land of Zebulun. And after him Abdon the son of Elel the Pharethonite judged Israel. And he had 40 sons and 30 grandsons that rode upon 70 colts. And he judged Israel 8 years. And Abdon the son of Elel the Pharethonite died, and was buried in Pharethon in the land of Ephraim in the mount of Abimelech. Chapter 13. And the children of Israel yet again committed iniquity before the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a man of Sarai of the family of the kindred of Dan, and his name was Manui, and his wife was barren, and bore not. And an angel of the Lord appeared to the woman, and said to her, Behold, you are barren, and have not borne, yet you shall conceive a son. And now be very cautious, and drink no wine nor strong drink, and eat no unclean thing. For behold, you are with child, and shall bring forth a son. And there shall come no razor upon his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb, and he shall begin to save Israel from the hand of the Philistines. And the woman went in and spoke to her husband, saying, A man of God came to me, and his appearance was as of an angel of God, very dreadful. And I did not ask him whence he was, and he did not tell me his name. And he said to me, Behold, you are with child, and shall bring forth a son. And now drink no wine nor strong drink, and eat no unclean thing, for the child shall be holy to God from the womb until the day of his death. And Manoah prayed to the Lord, and said, I pray you, O Lord, my Lord, concerning the man of God whom you sent. Let him now come to us once more, and teach us what we shall do to the child about to be born. And the Lord heard the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came yet again to the woman. And she sat in the field, and Manoah her husband was not with her. And the woman hasted, and ran, and brought word to her husband, and said to him, Behold, the man who came in the other day to me has appeared to me. And Manoah rose and followed his wife, and came to the man, and said to him, Are you the man that spoke to the woman? And the angel said, I am. And Manoah said, Now shall your word come to pass. What shall be the ordering of the child, and our dealings with him? And the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, Of all things concerning which I spoke to the woman she shall beware. She shall eat of nothing that comes of the vine yielding wine, and let her not drink wine or strong liquor, and let her not eat anything unclean. All things that I have charged her she shall observe. And Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, Let us detain you here, and prepare before you a kid of the goats. And the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, If you should detain me, I will not eat of your bread. And if you would offer a whole burnt offering, to the Lord you shall offer it. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of the Lord. And Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, What is your name, that when your word shall come to pass, we may glorify you? And the angel of the Lord said to him, Why do you thus ask after my name, whereas it is wonderful? And Manoah took a kid of the goats and its meat offering, and offered it on the rock to the Lord. And the angel wrought a distinct work, and Manoah and his wife were looking on. And it came to pass, when the flame went up above the altar toward heaven, that the angel of the Lord went up in the flame. And Manoah and his wife were looking, and they fell upon their face to the earth. And the angel appeared no more to Manoah and to his wife. Then Manoah knew that this was an angel of the Lord. And Manoah said to his wife, We shall surely die, because we have seen God. But his wife said to him, If the Lord were pleased to kill us, he would not have received of our hand a whole burnt offering and a meat offering. And he would not have shown us all these things, neither would he have caused us to hear all these things. And the woman brought forth a son, and she called his name Samson, and the child grew. And the Lord blessed him. And the Spirit of the Lord began to go out with him in the camp of Dan, and between Sariah and Eshtaol. Chapter 14. And Samson went down to Timnathah, and saw a woman in Timnathah of the daughters of the Philistines. And he went up and told his father and his mother, and said, I have seen a woman in Timnathah of the daughters of the Philistines, and now take her to me for a wife. And his father and his mother said to him, Are there no daughters of your brethren? And is there not a woman of all my people, that you go to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said to his father, Take her for me, for she is right in my eyes. And his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord, that he sought to be revenged on the Philistines. And at that time the Philistines lorded it over Israel. And Samson and his father and his mother went down to Timnathah. And he came to the vineyard of Timnathah, and behold, a young lion roared in meeting him. And the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, and he crushed him, as he would have crushed a kid of the goats, and there was nothing in his hands. And he told not his father and his mother what he had done. And they went down and spoke to the woman, and she was pleasing in the eyes of Samson. And after some time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, a swarm of bees and honey were in the mouth of the lion. And he took it into his hands, and went on eating. And he went to his father and his mother, and gave to them, and they did eat. But he told them not that he took the honey out of the mouth of the lion. And his father went down to the woman, and Samson made there a banquet for 7 days, for so the young men are used to do. And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they took 30 guests, and they were with him. And Samson said to them, I propound you a riddle. If you will indeed tell it me, and discover it within the 7 days of the feast, I will you give 30 sheets and 30 changes of raiment. And if you can't tell it me, you shall give me 30 napkins and 30 changes of apparel. And they said to him, Propound your riddle, and we will hear it. And he said to them, Meat came forth of the eater, and sweetness out of the strong. And they could not tell the riddle for 3 days. And it came to pass on the 4th day, that they said to the wife of Samson, Deceive now your husband, and let him tell you the riddle, lest we burn you and your father's house with fire. Did you invite us to do us violence? And Samson's wife wept before him, and said, You do but hate me, and love me not. For the riddle which you have propounded to the children of my people you have not told me. And Samson said to her, If I have not told it to my father and my mother, shall I tell it to you? And she wept before him the 7 days, during which their banquet lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she troubled him. and she told it to the children of her people. And the men of the city said to him on the 7th day, before sunrise, What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And Samson said to them, If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have known my riddle. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him powerfully, and he went down to Askelon, and destroyed of the inhabitants 30 men, and took their garments, and gave the changes of raiment to them that told the riddle. And Samson was very angry, and went up to the house of his father. And the wife of Samson was given to one of his friends, with whom he was on terms of friendship. Chapter 15. And it came to pass after a time, in the days of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid, and said, I will go in to my wife, even into the chamber. But her father did not suffer him to go in. And her father spoke, saying, I said that you did surely hate her, and I gave her to one of your friends. Is not her younger sister better than she? Let her be to you instead of her. And Samson said to them, Even for once am I guiltless with regard to the Philistines, in that I do mischief among them. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and took torches, and turned tail to tail, and put a torch between 2 tails, and fastened it. And he set fire to the torches, and sent the foxes into the corn of the Philistines. And everything was burnt from the threshing floor to the standing corn, and even to the vineyard and asterisk olives. And the Philistines said, Who has done these things? And they said, Samson, the son-in-law of the Tamnite, because he has taken his wife and given her to one of his friends. And the Philistines went up, and burnt her and her father's house with fire. And Samson said to them, Though you may have dealt thus with her, verily I will be avenged of you, and afterwards I will cease. And he struck them leg on thigh with a great overthrow, and went down and lived in a cave of the rock Etam. And the Philistines went up, and encamped in Judah, and spread themselves abroad in Lechi. And the men of Judah said, Why are you come up against us? And the Philistines said, We are come up to bind Samson, and to do to him as he has done to us. And the 3,000 men of Judah went down to the hole of the rock Etam, and they said to Samson, Know you not that the Philistines rule over us? And what is this that you have done to us? And Samson said to them, As they did to me, so have I done to them. And they said to him, We are come down to bind you, to deliver you into the hand of the Philistines. And Samson said to them, Swear to me that you will not fall upon me yourselves. And they spoke to him, saying, Nay, but we will only bind you fast, and deliver you into their hand, and will by no means kill you. And they bound him with 2 new ropes, and brought him from that rock. And they came to Lechi, and the Philistines shouted and ran to meet him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the ropes that were upon his arms became as tow which is burnt with fire, and his bonds were consumed from off his hands. And he found the jawbone of an ass that had been cast away, and he put forth his hand and took it, and struck with it 1,000 men. And Samson said, With the jawbone of an ass I have utterly destroyed them, for with the jawbone of an ass I have struck 1,000 men. And it came to pass, when he ceased speaking, that he cast the jawbone out of his hand, and he called that place the lifting of the jawbone. And he was very thirsty, and wept before the Lord, and said, You have been well pleased to grant this great deliverance by the hand of your servant, and new shall I die for thirst, and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised. And God broke open a hollow place in the jaw, and there came thence water, and he drank, and his spirit returned, and he revived. Therefore the name of the fountain was called the Well of the Invoker, which is in Lechi until this day. And he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. Chapter 16. And Samson went to Gaza, and saw there a harlot, and went into her. And it was reported to the Gazites, saying, Samson is come here. And they compassed him, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city. And they were quiet all the night, saying, Let us wait till the dawn appear, and we will kill him. And Samson slept till midnight, and rose up at midnight, and took hold of the doors of the gate of the city with the 2 posts, and lifted them up with the bar, and laid them on his shoulders. And he went up to the top of the mountain that is before Shebron, and laid them there. And it came to pass after this, that he loved a woman in Alsorech, and her name was Dalidah. And the princes of the Philistines came up to her, and said to her, Beguile him, and see wherein his great strength is, and wherewith we shall prevail against him, and bind him to humble him. And we will give you each 1,100 pieces of silver. And Dalila said to Samson, Tell me, I pray you, wherein is your great strength, and wherewith you shall be bound that you may be humbled. And Samson said to her, If they bind me with 7 moist cords that have not been spoiled, then shall I be weak, and be as one of ordinary men. And the princes of the Philistines brought to her 7 moist cords that had not been spoiled, and she bound him with them. And the liers in wait remained with her in the chamber. And she said to him, The Philistines are upon you, Samson. And he broke the cords as if anyone should break a thread of tow when it has section touched the fire, and his strength was not known. And Dalila said to Samson, Behold, you have cheated me, and told me lies. Now then tell me wherewith you shall be bound. And he said to her, If they should bind me fast with new ropes with which work has not been done, then shall I be weak, and shall be as another man. And Dalila took new ropes, and bound him with them. And the liers in wait came out of the chamber, and she said, The Philistines are upon you, Samson. And he broke them off his arms like a thread. And Dalila said to Samson, Behold, you have deceived me, and told me lies. Tell me, I entreat you, wherewith you may be bound. And he said to her, If you should weave the 7 locks of my head with the web, and should fasten them with the pin into the wall, then shall I be weak as another man. And it came to pass when he was asleep, that Dalila took the 7 locks of his head, and wove them with the web, and fastened them with the pin into the wall. And she said, The Philistines are upon you, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep, and carried away the pin of the web out of the wall. And Dalila said to Samson, How say you, I love you, when your heart is not with me? This 3rd time you have deceived me, and have not told me wherein is your great strength. And it came to pass, as she pressed him sore with her words continually, and straitened him, that his spirit failed almost to death. Then he told her all his heart, and said to her, A razor has not come upon my head, because I have been a holy one of God from my mother's womb. If then I should be shaven, my strength will depart from me, and I shall be weak, and I shall be as all other men. And Dalila saw that he told her all his heart, and she sent and called the princes of the Philistines, saying, Come up yet this once, for he has told me all his heart. And the chiefs of the Philistines went up to her, and brought the money in their hands. And Dalila made Samson sleep upon her knees. And she called a man, and he shaved the 7 locks of his head, and she began to humble him, and his strength departed from him. And Dalila said, The Philistines are upon you, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep, and said, I will go out as at former times, and shake myself. And he knew not that the Lord was departed from him. And the Philistines took him, and Plus put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass. And he ground in the prison house. And the hair of his head began to grow splits as before it was shaven. And the chiefs of the Philistines met to offer a great sacrifice to their god Dagon, and to make merry. And they said, God has given into our hand our enemy Samson. And the people saw him, and sang praises to their God. For our God, said they, has delivered into our hand our enemy, who wasted our land, and who multiplied our slain. And when their heart was merry, then they said, Call Samson out of the prison house, and let him play before us. And they called Samson out of the prison house, and he played before them. And they struck him with the palms of their hands, and set him between the pillars. And Samson said to the young man that held his hand, Suffer me to feel the pillars on which the house rests, and I will stay myself upon them. And the house was full of men and women, and there were all the chiefs of the Philistines, and on the roof were about 3,000 men and women looking at the sports of Samson. And Samson wept before the Lord, and said, O Lord, my Lord, remember me, I pray you, and strengthen me, O God, yet this once, and I will requite one recompense to the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 pillars of the house on which the house stood, and leaned on them, and laid hold of one with his right hand, and the other with his left. And Samson said, Let my soul perish with the Philistines. And he bowed himself mightily. And the house fell upon the princes, and upon all the people that were in it, and the dead, whom Samson killed in his death, were more than those whom he killed in his life. And his brethren and his father's house went down, and they took him. And they went up and buried him between Sarah and Eshtaol in the sepulchre of his father Manoah. And he judged Israel 20 years. Chapter 17. And there was a man of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Micaias. And he said to his mother, The 1100 pieces of silver which you took of yourself, and about which you cursed me, and spoke in my ears, Behold, the silver is with me. I took it. And his mother said, Blessed be my son of the Lord. And he restored the 1100 pieces of silver to his mother. And his mother said, I had wholly consecrated the money to the Lord out of my hand for my son, to make a graven and a molten image, and now I will restore it to you. But he returned the silver to his mother. And his mother took 200 pieces of silver, and gave them to a silversmith, and he made it a graven and a molten image, and it was in the house of Micaias. And the house of Micaias was to him the house of God, and he made an ephod and teraphim, and he consecrated one of his sons, and he became to him a priest. And in those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And there was a young man in Bethlehem, of the tribe of Judah, and he was a Levite, and he was sojourning there. And the man departed from Bethlehem, the city of Judah, to sojourn in whatever place he might find. And he came as far as Mount Ephraim, and to the house of Micaias to accomplish his journey. And Micaias said to him, Whence come you? And he said to him, I am a Levite of Bethlehem, Judah, and I go to sojourn in any place I may find. And Micaias said to him, Dwell with me, and be to me a father and a priest. And I will give you 10 pieces of silver by the year, and a change of raiment and your living. And the Levite went and began to dwell with the man, and the young man was to him as one of his sons. And Micaias consecrated the Levite, and he became to him a priest, and he was in the house of Micaias. And Micaias said, Now I know that the Lord will do me good, because a Levite has become my priest. Chapter 18. In those days there was no king in Israel. And in those days the tribe of Dan sought for itself an inheritance to inhabit, because no inheritance had fallen to it until that day in the midst of the tribes of the children of Israel. And the sons of Dan sent from their families 5 men of valor, from Sariah and from Eshtaol, to spy out the land and to search it. And they said to them, Go and search out the land. And they came as far as the mount of Ephraim to the house of Micaias, and they lodged there in the house of Micaias, and they recognized the voice of the young man the Levite, and turned in there, and said to him, Who brought you in hither? And what do you in this place? And what have you here? And he said to them, Thus and thus did Micaias to me. And he hired me, and I became his priest. And they said to him, Enquire now of God, and we shall know whether our way will prosper, on which we are going. And the priest said to them, Go in peace. Your way in which you go is before the Lord. And the 5 men went on, and came to Laissa. And they saw the people in the midst of it, dwelling securely, at ease, as is the manner of the Sidonians. And there is no one perverting or shaming a matter in the land, no heir extorting treasures. And they are far from the Sidonians, and they have no intercourse with anyone. And the 5 men came to their brethren to Sarah and Eshtaol, and said to their brethren, Why sit you here idle? And they said, Arise, and let us go up against them. For we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good, yet you are still. Delay not to go, and to enter in to possess the land. And whenever you shall go, you shall come in upon a people secure, and the land is extensive, for God has given it into your hand, a place where there is no lack of anything that the earth affords. And there departed thence of the families of Dan, from Sarah and from Eshtaol, 600 men, girded with weapons of war. And they went up, and encamped in Kiriath-jearim in Judah. Therefore it was called in that place the camp of Dan until this day. Behold, it is behind Kiriath-jearim. And they went on thence to the mount of Ephraim, and came to the house of Micaias. And the 5 men who went to spy out the land of Laissa answered and said to their brethren, You know that there is in this place an ephod, and teraphim, and a graven, and a molten image. And now consider what you shall do. And they turned aside there, and went into the house of the young man, the Levite, even into the house of Micaias, and asked him section how he was. And the 600 men of the sons of Dan, who were girded with their weapons of war, stood by the door of the gate. And the 5 men who went to spy out the land went up and entered into the house of Micaias, and the priest stood. And they took the graven image, and the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. And the priest said to them, What are you doing? And they said to him, Be silent, Lay your hand upon your mouth, and come with us, and be to us a father and a priest. Is it better for you to be the priest of the house of one man, or to be the priest of a tribe and house for a family of Israel? And the heart of the priest was glad, and he took the ephod, and the therapien, and the graven image, and the molten image, and went in the midst of the people. So they turned and departed, and put their children and their property and their baggage before them. They went some distance from the house of Micaias, and, behold, Micaias and the men in the houses near Micaias' house cried out, and overtook the children of Dan. And the children of Dan turned their face, and said to Micaias, What is the matter with you, that you have cried out? And Micaias said, Because you have taken my graven image which I made, and my priest, and are gone, and what have I remaining? And what is this that you say to me, Why cry you? And the children of Dan said to him, Let not your voice be heard with us, lest angry men run upon you, and take away your life and the lives of your house. And the children of Dan went their way, and Micaias saw that they were stronger than himself, and he returned to his house. And the children of Dan took what Micaias had made, and the priest that he had, and they came to Laissa, to a people quiet and secure, and they struck them with the edge of the sword, and burnt the city with fire. And there was no deliverer, because the city is far from the Sidonians, and they have no intercourse with men, and it is in the valley of the house of Rab, and they built the city and lived in it. And they called the name of the city Dan, after the name of Dan their father, who was born to Israel. And the name of the city was Olamais before. And the children of Dan set up the graven image for themselves. And Jonathan, son of Gerson, son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan, till the time of the carrying away of the nation. And they set up for themselves the graven image which Micaias made, all the days that the house of God was in Salem. And it was so in those days that there was no king in Israel. Chapter 19. And there was a Levite sojourning in the sides of Mount Ephraim, and he took to himself a concubine from Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine departed from him, and went away from him to the house of her father to Bethlehem, Judah, and she was there 4 months. And her husband rose up, and went after her to speak kindly to her, to recover her to himself. And he had his young man with him, and a pair of asses. And she brought him into the house of her father. And the father of the damsel saw him, and was well pleased to meet him. And his father-in-law, the father of the damsel, constrained him, and he stayed with him for 3 days. And they ate, and drank, and lodged there. And it came to pass on the 4th day that they rose early, and he stood up to depart. And the father of the damsel said to his son-in-law, Strengthen your heart with a morsel of bread, and afterwards you shall go. So they two sat down together, and ate, and drank. And the father of the damsel said to her husband, Tarry now the night, and let your heart be merry. And the man rose up to depart. But his father-in-law constrained him, and he stayed and lodged there. And he rose early in the morning on the 5th day to depart. And the father of the damsel said, Strengthen now your heart, and quit yourself as a soldier till the day decline. And the two ate. And the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his young man. But his father-in-law, the father of the damsel, said to him, Behold now, the day has declined toward evening. Lodge here, and let your heart rejoice. And you shall rise early tomorrow for your journey, and you shall go to your habitation. But the man would not lodge there, but he arose and departed, and came to the part opposite Jebus, this is Jerusalem. And there was with him a pair of asses saddled, and his concubine was with him. And they came as far as Jebus, and the day had far advanced, and the young man said to his master, Come, I pray you, and let us turn aside to this city of the Jebusites, and let us lodge in it. And his master said to him, We will not turn aside to a strange city where there is not one of the children of Israel, but we will pass on as far as Gabah. And he said to his young man, Come, and let us draw near to one of the places, and we will lodge in Gabah or in Ramah. And they passed by and went on, and the sun went down upon them near to Gabah, which is in Benjamin. And they turned aside thence to go in to lodge in Gabah. And they went in, and sat down in the street of the city, and there was no one who conducted them into a house to lodge. And behold, an old man came out of the field from his work in the evening. And the man was of Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Geba, and the men of the place were sons of Benjamin. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw a traveler in the street of the city, And the old man said to him, Whither go you, and whence come you? And he said to him, We are passing by from Bethlehem, Judah, to the sides of Mount Ephraim. I am from thence, and I went as far as Bethlehem, Judah, and I am going home, and there is no man to take me into his house. Yet is there straw and food for our asses, and bread and wine for me and my handmaid, and the young man with your servants. There is no lack of anything. And the old man said, Peace be to you, only be every lack of your upon me, only do you by no means lodge in the street. And he brought him into his house, and made room for his asses, and they washed their feet, and ate and drank. And they were comforting their heart, when, behold, the men of the city, sons of transgressors, compassed the house, knocking at the door. And they spoke to the old man, the owner of the house, saying, Bring out the man who came into your house, that we may know him. And the master of the house came out to them, and said, Nay, brethren, do not you wrong. I pray you, after this man has come into my house, do not you this folly. Behold my daughter a virgin, and the man's concubine. I will bring them out, and humble you them, and do to them that which is good in your eyes. But to this man do not this folly. But the men would not consent to listen to him, so the man laid hold of his concubine, and brought her out to them. And they knew her, and abused her all night till the morning, and let her go when the morning dawned. And the woman came toward morning, and fell down at the door of the house where her husband was, until it was light. And her husband rose up in the morning, and opened the doors of the house, and went forth to go on his journey. And behold, the woman his concubine had fallen down by the doors of the house, and her hands were on the threshold. And he said to her, Rise, and let us go. And she answered not, for she was dead. And he took her upon his ass, and went to his place. And he took his sword, and laid hold of his concubine, and divided her into 12 parts, and sent them to every coast of Israel. And it was so that every one who saw it said, Such a day as this has not happened, nor has been seen from the day of the going up of the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt until this day. Take you counsel concerning it, and speak. Chapter 20. And all the children of Israel went out, and all the congregation was gathered as one man, from Dan even to Bersabee, and in the land of Gilead to the Lord at Massepha. And all the tribes of Israel stood before the Lord in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew sword. And the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel were gone up to Massepha. And the children of Israel came and said, Tell us, where did this wickedness take place? And the Levite, the husband of the woman that was slain, answered and said, I and my concubine went to Geba of Benjamin to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose up against me, and compassed the house by night against me. They wished to kill me, and they have humbled my concubine, and she is dead. And I laid hold of my concubine, and divided her in pieces, and sent the parts into every coast of the inheritance of the children of Israel, for they have wrought lewdness and abomination in Israel. Behold, all you are children of Israel, and consider and take counsel here among yourselves. And all the people rose up as one man, saying, No one of us shall return to his tent, and no one of us shall return to his house. And now this is the thing which shall be done in Geba. We will go up against it by lot. Moreover, we will take 10 men for 100 for all the tribes of Israel, and 100 for 1,000, and 1,000 for 10,000, to take provision, to cause them to come to Geba of Benjamin, to do to it according to all the abomination which they wrought in Israel. And all the men of Israel were gathered to the city as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men through the whole tribe of Benjamin, saying, What is this wickedness that has been wrought among you? Now then, give up the men the sons of transgressors that are in Geba, and we will put them to death, and purge out wickedness from Israel. But the children of Benjamin consented not to listen to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. And the children of Benjamin were gathered from their cities to Geba, to go forth to fight with the children of Israel. And the children of Benjamin from their cities were numbered in that day 23,000, every man drawing a sword, besides the inhabitants of Geba, who were numbered 700 chosen men of all the people, able to use both hands alike. All these could sling with stones at a hair, and not miss. And the men of Israel, exclusive of Benjamin, were numbered 400,000 men that drew sword. All these were men of war. And they arose, and went up to Bethel, and inquired of God. And the children of Israel said, Who shall go up for us first to fight with the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first as leader. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gebar. And they went out, all the men of Israel, to fight with Benjamin, and engaged with them at Gebar. And the sons of Benjamin went forth from Gebar. And they destroyed in Israel on that day 22,000 men down to the ground. And the men of Israel strengthened themselves, and again engaged in battle in the place where they had engaged on the first day. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord till evening, and inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall we again draw near to battle with our brethren the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Go up against them. And the children of Israel advanced against the children of Benjamin on the second day. And the children of Benjamin went forth to meet them from Gebar on the second day, and destroyed of the children of Israel yet further 18,000 men down to the ground. All these drew sword. And the children of Israel and all the people went up and came to Bethel, and they wept and sat there before the Lord. And they fasted on that day until evening, and offered whole burnt offerings and perfect sacrifices before the Lord, for the ark of the Lord God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before it in those days. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall we yet again go forth to fight with our brethren, the sons of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Go up, tomorrow I will give them into your hands. And the children of Israel set an ambush against Gebar round about it. And the children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and arrayed themselves against Gebar as before. And the children of Benjamin went out to meet the people, and were all drawn out of the city, and began to strike and kill the people as before in the roads, whereof one goes up to Bethel, and one to Gebar, in the field about 30 men of Israel. And the children of Benjamin said, They fall before us as at the first. But the children of Israel said, Let us flee and draw them out from the city into the roads. And they did so. And all the men rose up out of their places, and engaged in Baal Tamar. And the liers in wait of Israel advanced from their place from Maragabe. And there came over against Gebar 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and the fight was severe, and they knew not that evil was coming upon them. And the Lord struck Benjamin before the children of Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed of Benjamin in that day 125,000 men. All these drew sword. And the children of Benjamin saw that they were struck, and the men of Israel gave place to Benjamin, because they trusted in the ambuscade which they had prepared against Gebar. And when they retreated, then the liers in wait rose up, and they moved toward Gebar, and the whole ambush came forth, and they struck the city with the edge of the sword. And the children of Israel had a signal of battle with the liers in wait, that they should send up a signal of smoke from the city. And the children of Israel saw that the liers in wait had seized Gebar, and they stood in line of battle. And the children of Israel saw that the liers in wait had seized Gebar, and they stood in line of battle. And Benjamin began to strike down wounded ones among the men of Israel, about 30 men. For they said, Surely they fall again before us, as in the first battle. And the signal went up increasingly over the city as a pillar of smoke. And Benjamin looked behind him, and behold, the destruction of the city went up to heaven. And the men of Israel turned back, and the men of Benjamin hasted, because they saw that evil had come upon them. And they turned to the way of the wilderness from before the children of Israel, and fled. But the battle overtook them, and they from the cities destroyed them in the midst of them. And they cut down Benjamin, and pursued him from Nua closely, till they came opposite Gebar on the east. And there fell of Benjamin 18,000 men. All these were men of might. And the rest turned, and fled to the wilderness, to the rock of Rimmon. And the children of Israel picked off of them 5,000 men. And the children of Israel went down after them as far as Gideon, and they struck of them 2,000 men. And all that fell of Benjamin were 25,000 men that drew sword in that day. All these were men of might. And the rest turned and fled to the wilderness, to the rock of Rimmon, even 600 men. And they sojourned 4 months in the rock of Rimmon. And the children of Israel returned to the children of Benjamin, and struck them with the edge of the sword from the city of Methlah, even to the cattle, and everything that was found in all the cities. And they burnt with fire the cities they found. Chapter 21. Now the children of Israel swore in Massaphath, saying, No man of us shall give his daughter to Benjamin for a wife. And the people came to Bethel, and sat there until evening before God. And they lifted up their voice and wept with a great weeping, and said, Therefore, O Lord God of Israel, has this come to pass, that today one tribe should be counted as missing from Israel? And it came to pass on the morrow that the people rose up early, and built there an altar, and offered up whole burnt offerings and peace offerings. And the children of Israel said, Who of all the tribes of Israel went not up in the congregation to the Lord? For there was a great oath concerning those who went not up to the Lord to Massaphath, saying, He shall surely be put to death. And the children of Israel relented toward Benjamin their brother, and said, Today one tribe is cut off from Israel. What shall we do for wives for the rest that remain? Whereas we have sworn by the Lord not to give them of our daughters for wives. And they said, What one man is there of the tribes of Israel, who went not up to the Lord to Massaphath? And behold, no man came to the camp from Jabesh-Gilead to the assembly. And the people were numbered, and there was not there a man from the inhabitants of Jabesh-Gilead. And the congregation sent there 12,000 men of the strongest, and they charged them, saying, Go you and strike the inhabitants of Jabesh-Gilead with the section edge of the sword. And this shall you do. Every male and every woman that has known the lying with man you shall devote to destruction, but the virgins you shall save alive. And they did so. And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh-Gilead 400 young virgins, who had not known man by lying with him. And they brought them to Selam in the land of Chanaan. And all the congregation sent and spoke to the children of Benjamin in the rock Rimmon, and invited them to make peace. And Benjamin returned to the children of Israel at that time, and the children of Israel gave them the women whom they had saved alive of the daughters of Jabesh-Gilead, and they were content. And the people relented for Benjamin, because the Lord had made a breach in the tribes of Israel. And the elders of the congregation said, What shall we do for wives for them that remain? For the women have been destroyed out of Benjamin. And they said, There must be an inheritance of them that are escaped of Benjamin. And so a tribe shall not be destroyed out of Israel. For we shall not be able to give them wives of our daughters, because we swore among the children of Israel, saying, Cursed is he that gives a wife to Benjamin. And they said, Behold, now there is a feast of the Lord from year to year in Selam, which is on the north of Beethel, eastward on the way that goes up from Beethel to Sychem, and from the south of Lebonah. And they charged the children of Benjamin, saying, Go and lie in wait in the vineyards, and you shall see. And behold, if there come out the daughters of the inhabitants of Selam to dance in dances, then shall you go out of the vineyards and seize for yourselves every man a wife of the daughters of Selam, and go you into the land of Benjamin. And it shall come to pass, when their fathers or their brethren come to dispute with us, that we will say to them, Grant them freely to us, for we have not taken every man his wife in the battle. Because you did not give to them according to the occasion, you transgressed. And the children of Benjamin did so, and they took wives according to their number from the dancers whom they seized. And they went and returned to their inheritance, and built the cities, and lived in them. And the children of Israel went thence at that time every man to his tribe and his kindred, and they went thence every man to his inheritance. And in those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own sight. The end of Book of Judges.
Look for more books on Scourby U Bible channel. On the current screen, you can find first link to more videos from the Septuagint playlist, and second link to number 1 playlist from Genesis to Revelation, read by Alexander Scourby. Subscribe, like, and share it with others.